Not sure. Can you all see this? Announcements? No? Yes? Okay. Um, and so I listed some introductory announcements here to try and get you up to speed on how this semester will work. Okay. And then we'll get into our discussion where you're talking about data sets. Okay, statistics is the study of data where um, many businesses, many kinds of scientific, economic, engineering enterprises are collecting data all the time. They've erected sensors. They've sent out teams of observers to question the population about opinions, about attitudes, about styles. And in the pharmaceutical domain, the pharmaceutical companies are trying to get FDA approval for new medicines. And the way the approval process works is that they must submit a proposal requesting approval from the government, from the FDA. And in that proposal, they have collected data. Okay, we've all read about the study groups that are ongoing for the vaccine for COVID, right? And the newspaper and various websites are looking for volunteers. And so what they're doing is they're collecting data, and that data then is analyzed from many points of view. One point of view is statistical measures that we'll talk about, that we'll learn about in class, right? And so statistics is a real, it's a science that is used in many different disciplines. Okay, so what you're going to learn this semester is sort of elementary statistics. You'll learn how to manipulate data and calculate various statistics. One statistic that you're probably already familiar with is the mean or the average, right? So we talk about average MPG for a car, miles per gallon, and we talk about the average high temperature in San Diego over the course of the year. There are many examples. What's the mean price of a home in San Diego versus the mean price of a home in Seattle, Washington? Okay, so the means are based on data. And in your discussion that you handed in last night, you talked about a data set, right? Okay, all right. Okay, I think everybody is in now. And so let's take a look at this one. This is basically our agenda for today. And in a second here, we'll open up the syllabus. Most of it is boilerplate. You know, it's very similar to other syllabi that you've seen from your other classes. Okay. You've handed in your discussion. And this third bullet concerns WebAssign. Sylvia in the library has distributed to you an access code. And the other part of that is the class key code, which I'll give to you on Monday. Now, when you open up your access card, some of you have already done that, there's a code in there that you'll implement, that you'll type in when you register and sign up for WebAssign. Okay, has anybody used WebAssign in any of their other college classes? Okay, for most of you, this is probably new. And so the textbook that we're using, exercises will be taken out of the textbook. You'll open up, you'll log into your web access, your WebAssign access, and you'll perform your homework in a portal. It'll return a correct response if you answer the problem correctly, okay? And I'll give you enough tries. If you don't get the right answer, you can change your answer and try to get the right answer on a succeeding attempt, all right? So you'll have plenty of access to the homework, and that's all done through WebAssign. So you'll get that all squared away probably early next week. And Sylvia will have another time next week, I think on Monday and again on Wednesday, where you can drop by if you haven't already picked it up. Okay? All right. Who has already gotten the access card? Anybody out there? No? Yes? Okay, maybe Sylvia has not communicated to you yet. I'll send you the email that she sent me for students who have not picked up their access cards for WebAssign. Now, before we get into the syllabus up here, the WebAssign homework will be due at the end of the semester, which I believe is December 12th for us. Remember that elementary statistics is considered a 3-unit course at Miramar College versus 4-unit and 5-unit courses. So the duration is less, and the way the college does that is they typically have it over a 16-week semester period, but then the frequency of the meetings, when the meetings were in person, is less. A 3-unit course has fewer meetings than a 5-unit course. So now here we are, we're working virtually, right? And the guidance from the principal is that our Zoom sessions are completely extra. We don't require you to log into your computer and log on to a Zoom session at a prescribed time. And so I'll announce when and if we have these meetings on Zoom. So you'll know in advance when we're meeting, but typically we won't meet via Zoom. I'll also publish the times when I have office hours. And what that means is that I'll host a Zoom session, and voluntarily, depending on if you have questions, you can log into the office hour. And, you know, there might be a few other students in the session as well. And then during the office hour, I'll answer questions that you might have about the content of the course, all right? So let's go into the syllabus up here. And let's see, let me bring it up. Yeah, we can just open it up from here, okay? All right, does everyone see the syllabus here now? Yeah, okay. All right, so a lot of boilerplate information for you. My name is Bill Torres. This is my cell phone number, and you can contact me using my phone number, send me a text. However, the best way to contact me is through email. And my email address that is very accessible for me on the phone and at home is this one here, wtorres@att.net. However, you can also reach me through Canvas inbox. Some of you have already done that. I've gotten some messages from from students in our class, and those were done in their Canvas inbox, through their Canvas inbox, all right? And I'll try and get back to you if you leave me a voicemail or a text message. I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Typically, no more than a couple of days, and typically much sooner than that, all right? You can, the students that have already contacted me through email, they know that I get back to them right away, okay? Okay, what about our resources here? Well, since this is an online course, our portal is Canvas. Some of you have not used Canvas before. This might be your first Miramar College class, and so there are lots of resources to get you up to speed. And I've given you some URLs here where you can copy and paste these URLs into your browser and get familiar with Canvas, all right? It's very easy to use Canvas, and I'll post discussion assignments and other assignments in Canvas, and you will respond in Canvas to those assignments. However, as I said, most of your homework will be done in WebAssign, which is a different website. You'll have your login credentials, you'll log in, do your homework, save it, and then you can come back to it at a later time, okay? So the first few weeks of our semester here will be getting up to speed on Canvas, some of the other tools. One other tool that you'll acquire during the semester is a statistical software program called StatCrunch. It's very easy to use, very handy, and you'll be using it to help you in WebAssign, and I'll be showing you different techniques in StatCrunch in order to do descriptive and inferential statistics. Okay, we'll come to that part in a second, okay? And it's always nice to have nearby a calculator, right? Okay, very important to have a calculating device if and when your StatCrunch isn't available. You can download your StatCrunch on all of your devices once you get your license. That will be provided to you by the school. And again, like WebAssign, you'll establish a login to their portal, and you'll be able to access that program on all of your devices from the phone all the way up to the desktop computer. And I'll demonstrate all of that as time goes on. However, this calculator is handy, right? You can put it in your back pocket, keep it on your desk, and if you need to do a calculation, it's always a good idea to have your calculator handy. And all of you have taken the integrated algebra classes there at the high school. You've used calculators and so on. Okay. All right. So a few other points here on the syllabus that we'll go through. Holidays, Thanksgiving break, and I think these are all the correct dates for those, okay? And as I said, our mode here is really working online, right? So Canvas will be your medium. I'll be in the background, I'll be around, and we'll have Zoom sessions from time to time. So I'm certainly not going to forget about you. All right. I'll be in close contact with you. Maybe you won't see me one week, but you'll hear from me from announcements and other avenues. Okay. Anyway, the course is based on 3 large sub-pieces, right? WebAssign, which is your homework. So you'll be performing on WebAssign as you go through the semester. I'm around to help if you have questions, okay? But there's plenty of resources in the program, videos, you know, solutions worked out for you on videos. So there are a lot of resources that you'll have there at your disposal in WebAssign. So WebAssign is 100 points. That's one big piece. The midterm exam and the final exam are 100 points each, okay? So out of those 300 points, it's a 90, 80, 70, 60% grading scheme. Now, right now, you're all shooting to get above 70%. If you get a D or an F in this class, it'll it'll basically slow you down a little bit. You may have to repeat that class. So at the very beginning here, resolve to stay on top of everything, okay? Only a very small percentage of students in my classes don't pass. So if you keep your eyes on the ball here, you shouldn't have any difficulties in passing, all right? Now, the course outline is given to you up here. All of these topics have no meaning for you right now. They'll make more sense as we go through all of these topics here. And I'll relate some of these topics to your discussions. I want to look at your discussions here, okay? Participation is important. Now, how do you participate virtually? Well, you're staying on top of your homework. I'll have a progress report on all of you on how you're making progress in WebAssign. So I'll be able to look at your grade sheet, look at how many assignments you've attempted, what your scores on those assignments. So, you know, I don't intend to intrude unnecessarily, but if there is a red flag there, I'll certainly give you guys a heads up, and maybe we can correct it as we go through the semester. So the key here is to really just stay on top of things, right? Now, in WebAssign, all of your homework will be due at the end of the semester. So that means you don't have to do it by next week or the week after that, right? There's no penalty in not doing it. The penalty is if you don't do it on a timely basis and we get to the end and you haven't done any of it, it's going to be very difficult for you to catch up and finish this in a week or two. So I am advising you to really stay on top of it. Now, some of you don't have the access code yet. You're not registered into it yet. We'll get into that next week. I think we'll have one Zoom session next week just to touch base and see how you're doing with your WebAssign credentials and your registration there. All right. Plagiarism and honesty. You know, most of you are honest people, and so we don't want to discourage you to continue from being honest. We want to encourage you to be honest. And in these virtual environments, there are lots of temptations. Okay, your exams will be take-home exams. Okay, I'll probably give you 24 hours to do your exam. So, you know, there's no police that's going to enforce any of these restrictions. It's the honor code, right? It's your own honor system. And if you resolve to do this work honestly, and you'll get a lot more out of it, right? I mean, if you do this all on your own and carry the weight by yourself, you will have done something. You will have achieved something. Okay, so think twice and make sure that you have that self-confidence that you can do it. And believe me, you can. All right, you will pass this course. There shouldn't be any problem. DSPS accommodations. The college is very committed to providing resources for disabled students, students that have accommodations in learning. So if you fall into that category, there's a lot of help for you. And you'll be able to have accommodations provided for you as we go through the class. There really hasn't been a semester in all the years I've taught here where there weren't DSPS accommodations. Okay, so it's really a great resource for you. What is this course all about? Well, here's the course description right out of the course, college catalog. What we're going to cover here, and I'll just stop here, is descriptive and inferential statistics. I've already given you the example of the pharmaceutical company, all right? If they calculate the mean time from treatment until cure, that's in, let's say they count that in months or days. Let's use months. It might be a cancer treatment, okay? It might be an AIDS treatment. It might be a vaccine, whatever it is. They're collecting data on how their new medicine is doing, okay, in their trials, in their tests. So what they'll get is they'll get an average number of months until cure, all right? And then they'll do maybe several samples over time, and then they'll take the average of all of their samples and they'll report that to the government, and the government will conclude, well, they've improved their mean time or their average time until cure significantly. And so the FDA will grant approval, and the drug companies will then market it, sell it, distribute it, and they've used a descriptive statistic. They have used the average number of months. Now, what the FDA may do in granting their approval, they may do a test, and they will try to infer, they'll use inferential statistics to decide whether the new drug is better than the one that they're currently marketing. So they're going to do a test or a comparison of whether this new drug is better based on samples. But sample data may have noise in it. It may have some values in it which skew the data. So what they'll do is they'll use statistical theory and do an inference test or a hypothesis test to decide whether in fact this new drug is in fact better by using inference based on their samples. So that, in short, is what we're going to discover here and learn is the notion of descriptive, which is a description of the data, just what it says, like a mean, or a picture of the data, like a histogram, and making decisions based on those statistics, okay? And those decisions are based in science, but they're also, they can also be biased, okay? The results may be biased if the samples are not neutral or random, as we call it. All right, so there's a lot that goes into the mathematics of making decisions based on data that's highly variable. All right, okay. The rest of this description up here, we'll get into these terms as we go through the course. And then at the end of this, you will be conversant in the elementary application of all of these different ideas here, okay? The description of the data, the evaluation, and the use of distributions in statistics. And then the third bullet is inferential statistics, testing, tests known as hypothesis tests to investigate claims. The pharmaceutical company wants to investigate and approve the claim from the manufacturer that the drug is effective. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's the course syllabus. Any questions about the syllabus? You have 2 exams, your midterm and a final, and then you have WebAssign, which is your own, go at your own pace, homework that you'll do on the computer. And as I said, there'll be lots of resources for you so that you get good scores, all right, that you can solve the problems, get a correct answer, and that gets credited to your score. There have been students in the past from your school that have gotten 100% on those WebAssign homeworks. Okay, lots of people get above 90 and so on. So as soon as you get into that next week, you'll kind of get a feel for what there is. Now, I didn't mention our textbook up here, did I? Okay, your textbook is a online text that is provided to colleges and other schools free of charge. And here is the URL for your text here. So I won't be giving you any lectures. You'll have to read the material, and then you'll have to go into WebAssign. And if you have questions in WebAssign, I can try and answer your questions, okay? But so you'll, go to your computer, you'll access your textbook, and I'll show you in Canvas what the various reading assignments are. Okay, all right. So, are there any questions about the syllabus at all?
Yeah, I wanted to ask.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to ask about the WebAssign. You said we could pick up our code somehow.
Yes, yes. Sylvia Rohrer in the library, she's the library tech there. She has the access codes. Okay, so I'll send you her info, and you can send her an email or call her, and she'll make arrangements with you to pick it up. Okay, it'll be like a curbside pickup maybe. I really don't know how she's doing that, whether she'll actually ask you to go to the library. She hasn't given me any of those details, but she did give me the contact information. She has a list of all of the enrollees for the course, so she'll be able to verify that you're actually enrolled in the course before she gives you the access. All right, so I'll be sending that out to you later today. I just got an email from her this morning, so I'll be sharing that information with you so that you can get your WebAssign. Okay. All right. Yes, you're welcome. Any other questions about the syllabus here? Okay. You've all, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So does the web access look like this? Is it this?
No, did you get that from Sylvia today?
I got it from her like last week.
Okay, well that's StatCrunch. That's the other resource that you'll use, but you haven't gotten the WebAssign yet.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll provide all of you the information to get your WebAssign code. When I got her email this morning, after I read it, I had the impression that she had contacted all the students and had given you information on where to pick it up, but apparently that may not be exactly the case. So I'll send her the information that she gave me, and then we'll all be on the same page. Students will know when and where to get it, and she'll be expecting you if you haven't already gotten it. Now, the StatCrunch, I wasn't told that those have been received. I just ordered those a couple of weeks ago, And now you can, with that access that you just showed me, Calvin, your name is Calvin, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then you can establish your login credentials for StatCrunch. Just follow the instructions.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
You'll be able to get up and running on StatCrunch. So it looks like Sylvia may have all of your goodies there. She may have StatCrunch and WebAssign. So when you go there, she'll have everything for you. Okay, she didn't tell me she had received all the StatCrunch yet. So it looks like, from what Calvin just showed us, it looks like your StatCrunch may be available as well. Okay. Any other questions about any of your resources, your grade breakdown or anything? Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
I have a question about the Zoom calls. Do you know if they're always going to be at 1:30?
No, that's completely variable. So, remember that these Zoom sessions, what they call they call them synchronous, meaning that we're all together in a virtual room. That's what synchronous means. Asynchronous is the complement of that, or not synchronous, which is Canvas. Okay. Now, as I said, in theory, you don't have to see me for the rest of the semester, right? We can do all of this through Canvas. But most people at the college feel that contact with the students in a Zoom session and a synchronous session is valuable. However, there's no fixed time. So I'll announce a time for the Zoom session. I'll give you the login credentials, which are the very, very same that you just used today. Be the same credentials, but I'll always repeat those just to make it handy for you. And then we'll meet. I've already had one student tell me that she has a conflict on Fridays between 1 and 3. And the other mitigation is that the nice thing about Zoom is that it's recording this session. So I can edit it, trim it, or whatever, and just post it to Canvas. And if for some reason you weren't able to make the synchronous Zoom session, you just click on it and bingo, the video opens up. And I'll try and restrict these sessions to 40 minutes or so. So you don't have to sit there and watch a video for 2-3 hours. All right, sure. Okay, so the other thing is I'll post some office hours. I think my office hours are going to be Tuesday and Thursday. But then, in addition to that, you can contact me if you want to have a chat session on Zoom. We can do that. So we're trying to be as flexible as we can and not abandon you in any fashion, okay? Our goal here is to make sure that you know we're here for you, and that you have your professor to talk to. As I said, leave me a text message, send me an email, and also you can request a Zoom chat, probably for no more than 20 or 30 minutes, okay? And then we can meet that way as well. Other questions about the syllabus here?
I have a question. It's not about the syllabus, but on
Yes.
Canvas, if you go to
Yes.
module, I tried clicking on the link and it's completely blank. I can't read anything. So I don't know if we're supposed to be able to read that or not. But
Okay, that's a good opening for me. Let me now go there. Okay. And as I said, there might be some glitches for us. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Hang with me here just for a second. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to Oh, okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's see. Let me take you over. Hold on just for a second here. Okay. Hang with me, I'm almost there. Here we go. Okay, can you all see this now? Canvas? Okay. And when you open up your modules in your list here on the left, you should get something that looks like this. Okay. So this is what your modules page should look like in your course, in your Canvas course page. Okay. If you have another device handy, you might try logging into Canvas right now to see what you've got. Have any of you been able to see this before? No? Yes?
Yeah, it goes down to 4.3. That's the furthest it goes.
Okay. Okay, that's because I haven't published anything beyond that. Publishing means that it's just locked until we actually get to it. I can, I'll unlock these as we, or publish them, I think is the more correct term, as we get into them. But what you see here are the first 4 modules, which are the content that I want you to read from the text, okay? And remember, your text is available to you online using that URL that I gave you. Hang on for just a second. Okay, a little background noise there. I wanted to close the door. Okay, so so when you look at these, you'll read these, and then you'll just progress through. Okay, and there aren't any points assigned to these assignments, so these reading assignments. So it's up to you to open up your book online, read and look at examples. Let's see. Could you tell me your name, please? I don't see your name here. Go ahead. You asked me about the module. Daphne?
Daphne.
Daphne, okay. Daphne, you aren't able to see these in your Canvas course page?
No, I saw them, but like when I clicked them, I couldn't read text. But I get that you looked at the online textbook now. I just was confused about that.
Okay, yeah. In some courses that you'll take, the reading assignment will actually be available in Canvas, but our reading assignments are in our text, okay? And so your textbook, you'll have a bookmark in your browser. You'll open up that bookmark, you'll open up that text, and you'll read the assignment, okay?
Yeah.
So this list here is given to you. Now, some publishers of books actually provide Canvas modules that conform to their text. We're not doing that. So, you know, we're in the stage where our book does not provide that link to Canvas. So you'll have to go to a different bookmark in your browser, open up your textbook, read, and then go through and read as necessary. And you'll like the textbook because it's interactive. It'll give you examples. Maybe we can do that next week. We'll open up the textbook and see how it works for you so that you can process this information and use it to solve problems. Okay. All right. So there are the modules. And we've got a few minutes left here. Let me go to the discussions here. Okay. Okay, so here's Catherine. Her nickname is Kate. The Beatles, my goodness. That's from when I was in high school. Okay. And of course, back then, everybody loved the Beatles too. So, okay, and then she talks about her data set here, a school gardening study. Can you all see this on your screen? Yeah, okay. In this study, researchers set up a 12-week gardening program for elementary schoolers in South Korea. And in this study, it's looking at health statistics for the children, both physically and emotionally. So did this program of taking the students in a garden and doing their own gardening and learning about nutrition, did that help them in different ways? And so that's what her study might want to do. Okay, and it has a lot of import in terms of public health. Okay, especially childhood obesity, as she remarks here. Okay, all right. And then Hannah replied to her message and said, let's do this in the United States. Okay. Now here's Anicia. The neighborhood is her favorite group. Okay. And what she writes here is she likes to go to amusement parks, and how popular are different rides at the amusement park. So that's what she's going to study. All right. So before she goes to SeaWorld, she's going to read the reviews and maybe even some statistics on how popular these different rides are. And then she'll be sure and go on those rides that seem to be the best rides in the park. Okay. And then Drew here remarks that why don't we take a look at popular rides at different parks? Okay, is the roller coaster ride at Magic Mountain better than the roller coaster ride at Balboa Park? I don't know if those places are open, to be honest. They're probably not open yet, but these are some of the questions that might be asked. Okay, Riley writes about Pearl Jam and Green Day. Those are good groups. She plays softball. So, you know, in sports, statistics always plays a big role, right? It's all performance-based from middle school through professional ranks, how fast you run, how far do you throw, how far do you jump, how many baskets can you make, how many hits can you make, and it goes on and on and on. So everything is numerically based in sports these days. And different coaches have different philosophies. I play a lot of golf, and there's no dearth of statistics that are collected that players seem to be very, very focused on. Okay. Okay. All right. Water polo. Hannah is a water polo player. Okay, Josh. His favorite musician is Daniel Caesar. Am I pronouncing that correct? Caesar? Or is it Kaiser? We don't know yet. Okay, I'll look it up. So he likes video games, and if he hosts a tournament, he'd like to balance out the teams, right? So he knows that there are different flights, and he can distribute the players into flights so that it's more fun for the players, right? So that they play against players with their same abilities, okay? And then Calvin writes here, ELO, okay? Is ELO defined up here? Okay, so I guess it's a system by which players are ranked, ELO. Okay. All right. And Calvin, are you out there? Hello, Calvin.
Hi.
What does ELO mean?
I don't remember.
Okay, we'll look it up. Okay, so it has to do with gaming. Allison, all right. And Allison plays field hockey, another sport, okay. And again, top goal scorers, okay. Who are the top goal scorers? And do they have something in common? Do they have certain techniques that they prefer that help them, keep the score down for the opposite team, right? Okay, and so yes, sports teams are very, very committed to collecting data, basically statistical data, in order to improve performances, right? And as you recall, when I gave you the assignment, I talked about the Padres. And believe it or not, this season from last season, it's like night and day, isn't it? They've really jumped up in the standings, and their leadoff hitters, their first three hitters, have very, very high on-base percentages. How they did that in 1 year, it's pretty remarkable, okay? Okay, so here's Macy. She's a Warriors fan. Which NBA position has the highest scoring average? Okay, all right, let's see, AD here, one of the top centers, his average is about 26 points per season. James Harden, who plays for the Houston Rockets, I believe, is a shooting guard, and his average is about 34 points. So which position, and we all know about Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, they were forwards and guards, but certainly Bill Walton, a native of San Diego, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, David Robinson, the list goes on and on. Those are all centers, and they had high scoring averages as well. So which position can we guarantee a high scoring average? Okay. Okay, now here's Hannah. Tactical efficiency in water polo. Okay, so there are people that actually study tactics. What are the optimum tactics for defense and offense? Okay, she's an avid water polo player, and exclusion conversion rate, okay, that would be a term that is specific to performance in water polo. Okay, all right. Okay, we've gone beyond our 45 minutes. I will read all of these discussions, and I will score a grade for you. You'll see that in your grade book. Okay, all right. Any questions? Any questions before we depart? Read your announcements next week, because I will post information about WebAssign and StatCrunch so that you all know how to acquire those, how to register for those, and how to use those. Using StatCrunch, it would be very helpful in solving your problems in WebAssign, okay? So hopefully by the end of next week.